That's it, isn't it? Neymar's never going to play for PSG again, is he?
Well, Leonardo was pretty clear. He spoke of advanced talks to move him on. I don't know. I mean, we're going to look into this, but it seems bizarre when you wonder where is he going to fit in. Is this something that's well thought out? Why haven't other people bitten, perhaps in the Premier League when the market, when the transfer window was still open? Normally, when you go to this extreme, you're pretty sure you have a pathway out. And you look at Real Madrid, you look at Barcelona, and you wonder, where does he fit? And does this make any kind of sense given the players who are there already?
Who does it make more sense for, guys? Real Madrid or Barcelona? Who should push harder?
Well, you could play him on the other side if you're Real Madrid.
Right.
I mean, it's really difficult because we're talking about a guy who actually, if we get rid of the being unprofessional and all that stuff, is one of the best players on the planet. So it's kind of hard to try and say there's not a place for him. But put it this way, if Real Madrid or Barcelona don't get him, then they'll still be fine.
Gab, who are they more advanced with, Real Madrid or Barcelona? Do we know?
Well, the thinking is that it's probably Real Madrid for the simple reason that you know, Barcelona, I think financially are a little tight. Remember, they spent 120 million on Griezmann. They spent money on De Jong, and also fitting Griezmann, Suarez, Lionel Messi, and Neymar into the same team, let alone Coutinho and Dembele and all those other guys, is difficult. As Stevie said, you know, you could go and stick him on the other flank. Sorry, Vinicius, go sit on the bench and go for it that way. But equally, you know, Real Madrid have also made some big investments this summer. They're still stuck with some very high wage earners that they can't get rid of. Wink, wink, Bale, James. So I don't know. Certainly a move like this, at the numbers that are being talked about, we're talking, you know, 200 million euros here, plus the wage commitments, which means, you know, you're looking at an outlay of round about $500 million over the next 4 years between wages and fees. That's like a millstone around a club's neck. And one thing, if you're Real Madrid, one thing you know all too well is the pain that massive contracts can cause you when you're trying to build a team and go forward.
Craig, say this doesn't happen, you know? Those banners today were pretty nasty, pretty vicious against Neymar from the fans. From a professional point of view, can you just kind of forget about it, go and play your game, or is there part of you going, you know what? If you're saying those things to me, why should I go out and give everything?
You still have to.
Pitch?
The answer is you can go and play your game, but show me somebody that won't affect mentally. If somebody says to me that does not affect me at all, I would say the chances are they're telling lies. Because it has to affect you. In some sense, he's kind of brought all this on himself. Just to go back to that, I think Real Madrid's need is more. I can only imagine that they think if they can make it happen, that they believe they're going to get a couple of players out, at least one, maybe two players out. But Gareth Bale, and Gab mentioned Bale, and his agent have shown no desire to do anything other than when it's on their terms. So this is very strong from PSG, and I think Neymar needs it to happen. Sorry, Gab, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I think if it's Real Madrid, that they have to have players going out the other way. Obviously, you know, there's a pathway for James to Napoli that's been talked about. There's been talk about Luka Modric maybe going the other way in part exchange to Paris Saint-Germain. But equally, remember, even though Paris Saint-Germain will be getting, you know, these enormous wages off their bill, this is a team that has financial fair play issues as well to contend with, as we saw last season. So it's not something where you're necessarily doing PSG a favor if you're sending, you know, older veteran players back the other way. It seems very, very complicated. The clock is ticking. It just seems extraordinary to me how we've gotten ourselves into this situation.
Dan, you worked in Madrid for how long?
5 years.
5 years.
How's this going?
How would Real Madrid fans feel if a guy who, number one, played with Barcelona, two, all he talked about was leaving PSG to go to Barcelona and all of a sudden goes to Real Madrid. How do they feel?
I think if he's got that quality, you don't care, do you? If he makes the team better, Neymar does. As you say, away from all the shenanigans, he's an awesome player.
Just briefly, the biggest story in all of this is the fact that this guy has to get his career back on track.
Definitely.
And get all this circus away.
And it seems it has to be away from PSG.
And it has to be soon.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.